Hello. So usually I don't show this part of the screen, but I was locked in during your session. I had already entered like your information and all that stuff. And I just wanted to like cleanse my energy of like all my stuff so I could do your video, right? Which is the screen that I was just coming out of. But I was watching this, which is a Reiki session, right? So Reiki is energy healing. Somebody has cultivated enough of their energy, right, that they are able to send it through themselves like a funnel. Whatever their intention is, it comes through the screen just like a song comes through the radio. It's a frequency, and you can feel the different energies and the different type of healing things, right? So I had this one on, and it was the one that was on the screen for me already, actually. But it says heal from abuse with Reiki. I put in the information and I came back to y'all charts over here, right? And I was looking at this and I almost wrote you because I was like, this looks like a very difficult relationship. And I don't want to like sway you one way or the other or to sway my own opinion or feelings as I'm looking at this chart. In regards to you being in this relationship with this person, I wanted to be 100% honest. So I was going to write you and be like, hey, so how are y'all doing right now? But no, I did not do that. I am just going to be honest with you. I went and added another asteroid after I looked at this chart, which is Nessus 7066. Nessus is the chart for, or the marker for a relationship that starts off really like passionate and fun, and then it slowly like spirals into like abuse, right? You have different places in your chart because different people bring out different things in you, which is what we're going to get into in this chart today. Just the energies you bring out of each other, how that connects to your overall story, and then what the purpose of this is. I am just here to give you all the details, all the facts, all the stuff that I see here. And typically, what this does is it confirms what you are already feeling so that you can make a decision for yourself. But off top seeing this, I was like, oh, that's why the abuse soundtrack popped up. Uh, you see your Nessus right here is next to your moon. So it's like this is a past life ripple. It's something that y'all have been through before. And that is especially prominent. It looks like because he's a little bit jealous, or there's some jealousy about how attractive you may be to other people. And it's something that he was meant to heal this life or to work on healing. But that doesn't stop the fact that it is next to your south node and next to like your home and your marker for where you're typically abused. Usually for you, it happens amongst your friends. And I'm getting like they're kind of like anal, like perfectionist people who pick you apart and stuff is the friend group that you usually seeing this in. Also, your mom's side of the family. It's like nothing was ever good enough for them, and it's something you carried with you, and it's the biggest thing that your husband's whole personality mirrors to you, and it's just who he is at home is what it looks like. Like this is a part of him that nobody else probably sees either because it's in his home. They'd have to be really close to him emotionally to see that. So you might go out and see a whole different version of him with other people. And you're like, maybe there's something I'm doing because I do not get that at home. And I am going to explain exactly why that is. And also make a lot of comments about how gnarly it is that all this was already written and then it just plays out. I swear we're in Westworld. Like you have no choice. You are going to meet somebody on the conveyor track. In this moment, I'm thinking of the merry-go-rounds or the carousels that have the horses on them. You know how they have a certain track that they have to go around every time? That's what these charts are. I'm looking at the way that you guys have been orbiting around each other and what is keeping you guys from either merging back into one so that y'all can go back home to God, right? Or keeping y'all bound to each other so y'all just keep reincarnating because Earth is kind of like the intermediary in order to get to heaven. In order to get out of hell, you got to go through Earth. And if you keep failing, you just keep like Mario, right? You and this dude have been bound to each other because this relationship keeps going very, very bad. And by very, very bad, I mean, your son is in the eighth house, right? That's the house of death and sex and taboo and stalkers and abuse and all the dark stuff in life, right? You have it right next to your union, your marriage marker, and you have Paulus next to it. Paulus is representative of a big turning point. That is next to your soulmate marker. So technically, it kind of looks like in this life you wanted to make a different decision for yourself because I kind of think he drove you crazy, man. That's what I'm sensing here. Notice how his Chiron, which is his wound in life, right, is kind of a mental defect, if I'm being honest. I don't know if he's not good at expressing himself or like getting his words out right, if he got a stutter or something. It's a learning disability, but there's something mentally that's like a little, right? But that part of him that can't express himself right is what makes him start targeting you. Like he gets mad and then just is the energy here. So in this life, you have it set up that you start learning stuff that helps you heal. Like you move beyond your parents forcing you to stay in a situation you didn't want to be in, because that feels like that's part of the ripple that you are clearing out. But your Chiron, which is your wound in life, right, is next to your vertex, which is a fated event. Your Mercury, which is in retrograde. Hold on, let me make sure that's your Mercury in retrograde, not your Venus, because that's a different thing. Oh, no, no, it's your Venus. Well, your Venus in retrograde. Anytime you see a retrograde in these charts, that's a rewind. It's a rewrite. You took that same script from that little carousel that you had been on, and you said, there are some things I want to change this time because last time it did not go right. You have your Venus in retrograde. So that means you wanted to rewrite your love story, your marriage. That is evident several ways in here. But I need to point out the fact that it's next to your South Node. Your South Node is the thing that you are walking away from, like the big turning point in last life that you decided you wanted to take the wheel and go a different route this time. So I guess you would learn about psychology or something like that. It's higher education in this life, something that helped you understand that his gaslighting or his nitpicking or whatever that mental thing that he's doing, that he does to himself in his head. By the way, he's only doing it to you, what he's doing to himself. It's like his sense of self-worth is like, right? Either it's inflated or deflated. I'm going to find that out in a minute, right? But he like talks to himself in his head, and whatever that narrative becomes, like if he's upset, his mind is like, like when you see him just staring off, he's not just staring off at all. He's thinking something, and then it's going to come out in some weird passive aggressive way later because it's in his house of unconscious. Like he's just moving on a trigger. And who is hitting his trigger all the time? Unfortunately, with your son and all this energy here, it's kind of you. You're hitting into a hard spot for him in some way, shape, or form. And that's multiple ways because your son is over here, right? But everything I just said over here about you learning about healing yourself, about different types of mental illnesses, about different type of psychological things, all those things that make you smarter in this life than you got to be in the other ones, right? I think very possibly last time you listened to other people blindly. You trusted the advice of others and your siblings and the people who raised you. I guess it's just a ripple from being a woman in America the last 400 years or so. But that's what it seems like. You didn't know certain things. You wanted to change that for yourself, but that's still leaking into the house of his unconscious self and all that stuff that he's just thinking and keeping in his head, which comes out at home over here because Gemini is also ruled by Virgo and Mercury. So you might even telepathically, not on purpose, be sending him some of the thoughts you're having. So if you ever wonder why it seems like he knows your thoughts, it's because y'all have a strange telepathic link, and there are some of your thoughts that are going into the air. So things that I feel like I need to point out right now. You came in this life to go from the group mentality and his house, right, towards your own house, your own life, towards the Christ spark. You wanted to come back to life. You did not want to respawn. You did not want to live the rest of this life with him. That's what you decided before you got here, just to remind you, right? He wanted to go away from being married. And it's kind of like he chose to go unconscious. Like he didn't want to wake up in this life. He wanted to care for himself. His North Node is in the first house. Next is Pinocchio. He's not a real boy. He does not want to be a real boy or a real man in his life. That's not what he came for, unfortunately, right? So where he gets abusive or where he's been abused in this life is in regards to his ego, his sense of self, his creativity, what he likes to do for fun. And this happened like during his childhood. Like if there was anything excellent that stood out around him, it seems like maybe he came from a place where excellence is not something you want to have. Like people are not looking up to that. And that sort of stayed with him because the way his mind works is all based upon his Leo energy, which is ruling his Taurus house, which is ruling all of this stuff over here that doesn't let him see his own greatness. So he always feels like sort of bitter. It's the energy that I'm getting here. So his Venus, which is his sense of worth, right? Connects to your logos. Your logos is where the word of God or the energy of source is made manifest, to be dramatic. But it's like how God is translated to you, like the way Bumblebee works in Transformers. Like whatever God is saying up there, it comes to you in a song or a message or whatever the case may be. But it finds its way to you, and that's how you always know what to say to boost him back up, because you help him mentally. You help him remember who he's supposed to be or his potential or the greatness that he already has. But at the same time, your Lilith is there also. So that's your dark feminine energy. He mirrors back the perfectionism that you require of yourself. And it's like painful coming from an outside perspective. So like all the stuff you think about yourself, all the stuff you say in your head already, you have this guy right here just mirroring it back all the time. In order for you to like flip that, that's what all of this is what you're moving away from. This feels very much like group think. Like, this is what I know, this is what we do, and you don't stray away from that. Like in this moment, I'm picturing like a group of Mormons where they all have to follow like these certain rules. And you're like, this is not working for me. And they all try to talk you back in. This life, you said, I do not want to be talked in. I want to find where my spark is, what I'm good for. So his psychologist energy, his ability to recognize patterns and get into somebody's mind is in your subconscious house. It's a past life pattern. Right next to his Mercury. So the way that he speaks to you, the way that he talks to you, the things that you argue about, even could be the things that are good between you guys. All of that stuff is like streaming from the other life. It's hitting on some stuff. And sometimes it could be a blessing, and sometimes it feels like it could be a curse. Like sometimes he's hitting stuff and it's like, hey, bro, like what? Because it depends on what mood he's in. And if he feels like nurturing you at that moment because he knows he already pushed you too far some other time, or if he is purposely like hitting something because he's mad about something you said or did that offended him that he can't express. But the things that he says to you, like stay with you, like they would give you nightmares, like they would stay rolling through your head all the time subconsciously. Someone's Saturn is their restriction in life or what they are bound to. Here, it looks like he's bound to you. But when somebody's Saturn is in your first house, their restrictions in life also become your restrictions. His Pluto, which is his transformation, his power, his pain, is all in your first house. That's your first house itself. That's like your physical body. His Lucifer is next to his unique genius. So if you ever try to go out with your girlfriends, and this is just an example, just like the way that this plays out. If you try to go out with your girlfriends, something's going to happen at the house and he's going to have to send you a text or something that's going to piss you off while you are out with your friends, because you can't just enjoy yourself while you're out. No, because his Jupiter, which is his husband marker, is in Scorpio in your first house, right next to where you have been transformed psychologically. The whole way that you think is very different now because of this relationship. It has literally changed who you are as a person. You are a Libra rising, right? This is a girl's girl. This is a Carrie. This is like somebody who just wants to be in love and looks forward to being in a relationship, finally locking in with somebody, right? The parts of him down here, they bring out the darker energy. Like when you're afraid to get in relationships, you're like, I don't even want to date anymore. Like you can spot a predator. Like you can spot when something is off now. It changed the composition of how you thought. And I'm trying to figure out what this vertex, because that's his fated event, right? And Eros is his sexual energy. So there could be something about that also uh, that changed you or changed your values of self. But there is absolutely like some sort of sexual bond or sexual tie here. Maybe in the beginning, there was a healing to it because your healing energy, which is retrograde, like you don't probably don't even know like you got sexual healing energy, but that's what he was craving. That's what he was needing. And your block or your bound energy was to being a wife. But your Uranus, which is like the big change in your chart, the rewrite, is at the marriage once again. His south node is leaving away from the past, leaving away from his marriage house. I don't think he wants to leave. I don't think he wants to graduate. And by that, like go to heaven. I don't think whatever his vices are or whatever has been holding him back this whole time, he's not ready to let go of it. And you made the decision that you are. Remember, you make your soul contract separately, like your individual one. So if you're over here and you're like, okay, I don't want to be with this person this time. I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D and clear the board, but I'm moving forward. That person can still be on the other side, like a dating show, like I choose her. Like, you know what I mean? But in this case, it looks like both of y'all was like, he's going for another round in the casino. So this is your composite. This is the same thing as the natal chart for your relationship. The Nessus is leading this chart. Is leading the belief system of the relationship. And things that are in the 12th house, right? They are for dissolving. They are past life ripples that you came to clear. Y'all wanted to still make the family you had, but also to dissolve any of the issues that may have been there before. Your contract was for you guys to create a family, a home, and then it was supposed to be that y'all move away into having some sort of family business or building something that goes on beyond you guys. So if y'all have kids, that definitely counts too. There's a lot of stuff here in your fifth house of having children that would also cover the contract. But y'all just needed to have something that went on after this relationship dissolved, would be my synopsis. Just looking at this, you had a wild ride. And you came into union, which was the goal, to try to make it one more time. But at any point, that south node that you had was triggered. If at any time that you were in danger of losing yourself in the relationship in a way that you cannot retrieve self, you know what I'm saying? Rage quit. You said, so I'm here delivering this message because you probably needed this information to know if it's going to get better, if you're tripping because your mind is probably like right now. But just know his mind is always like, and it has something to do with his childhood. So it's not on you. Do what you do, man. Have a great day.